Hey everyone, welcome back. So WWDC just finished, like literally 20 minutes ago. And I just wanted to share my reactions, my thoughts about what was announced, what wasn't announced. So let's get to it. So a couple things that I wanted that didn't come out. So of course there was no new hardware and no new hardware releases. Which we kind of expected. That's usually for September, October time, so you know it makes sense. Especially nobody will be able to touch them with the whole Corona stuff anyway, so it kind of makes sense. And then Final Cut for iPad, I was thinking that might come out. That would have been cool. I'm using LumaFusion at the moment, but it would have been cool to if that came out. Now for the things that actually were announced, let's go through it. So one thing that I am excited about is the AirPods spatial awareness. You know, I've always thought with the noise cancelling ability of the AirPods, if you combine it with some really cool audio effects, you can create like a really immersive experience. And it seems like Apple also had that same thought because they've created this for the AirPods Pro. So I think it's only going to be available for the Pro models, this spatial awareness technology, which is meant to be, you know, more immersive. So I can't wait to check that out. Hopefully that is as good as it looks and sounds. So there's been big improvements to the Apple Pencil. One of the big things I really like what they announced was the being able to copy handwritten notes and then transferring it into text files. So they showed an example where they took a handwritten note and they copied it into a Pages document, which I thought was really cool because actually that's the one bad thing about writing handwritten notes, well, period, but then also digitally. If it can't be transferred into text and you need to write it again, it's kind of like doubling your workload in a sense because you have to write it and then maybe type it if you need to actually put it somewhere where everybody can read it, because you know not everybody can read your handwriting, right? So that was really cool. WatchOS 7. I was quite impressed with that. I mean, when they first started off, they started off with just watch face sharing, which I thought, okay, cool. I think they were just trying to warm us up with that one. The dance workout. I mean, that was a nice distraction. But what I really, was looking for, and I think everybody is looking for, is the sleep tracking. And it looks like they really put a lot of detail and attention into that. One issue is with the sleep tracking on WatchOS is because the watch has like a 2-day max battery life, you are kind of you're losing your overnight charging if you use the sleep tracking. So it's going to be interesting to see how that actually works and if it works in the way that is actually useful in the real world. And the other one was the language translation, which they didn't go through, but they did show on their little graphic that you can do language translation. So I'm interested to see what that actually looks like in the real world. And they just talked a lot about privacy. I think, that's kind of like an indirect shot at Google and that kind of thing. So they're talking, and so actually throughout the whole of the conference, that was the big theme. It was about privacy and, making sure that you're completely transparent as to when your data is being used, when your data has been tracked. So that just was a consistent theme running out throughout the whole conference. And I think when I get to Safari, I can explain it a bit more and why I'm excited about Safari for like the first time ever, really. There was some stuff on the home, but I don't really have the home stuff, so I don't know. If you guys have the home stuff in the comments, you can tell me if that's useful or not. But the big one, as the title of my thumbnail suggests, the Mac is back. Yes, it is. And even though macOS is, a pretty robust and, user-friendly experience, it has aged a lot. Like if you look at some of the app icons and even the widgets, the current widgets panel right now looks so dated, and they've changed all of that. So all of that is getting redesigned, and it just does look like a natural progression. Seems more like an evolution rather than like a revolution. So that's been good to see. It looks, like I said, looks way less dated. They're bringing the widgets. Actually, that's one thing I didn't mention. The new iOS on the iPhone is gonna have widgets, and it's gonna have better app management, because right now it can be quite messy, which is actually one thing that I didn't like. But to be fair, I'd actually figured out a way to make that work for me. So I'm actually going to release a video on actually how I set up my iPhone so it's not a complete mess like some phones can be, where the apps are just all over the place. But for me, that's kind of a small thing. Let's focus on the Mac. And the next thing is on the Mac is Safari. So what they've done with Safari, for me, it looks pretty good. I mean, there's a new UI, user interface, so it's like more fresh. The current Safari on Mac is kind of dreary and dark, which is kind of surprising for Apple, really, because they love that kind of all white, fresh look. So it's quite surprising that they still have that Safari version, but it's all changing now. It's way more customizable. You're gonna have built-in translation, which sounds cool. Better tab management. They're gonna everything in terms of having an icon next to the tab. I know Google already has that, and I know you can actually switch it on in Safari, but I think they're gonna play more to their strengths in that regard. Another cool feature is that extensions can now be ported from other by developers. They can be ported from other browsers. So it looks like they'll be able to take some Chrome extensions and bring them over to Safari, which will be really cool because Safari's extension library is nowhere near the level of Chrome. And also built into that, like I said before, there'll be privacy. And because at the moment, I didn't even notice they said this, extensions and add-ons can actually track your behavior, your keystrokes. I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure most of these companies don't do it, but the fact that they can do it is a bit shady. So it's cool that within Safari in itself, there's more privacy and in regards to that. And they also have a little feature where when you're on the browser, you can click on, it's a bit similar to DuckDuckGo has it, where you can click on all the trackers that Apple has blocked and see, who's been trying to track you. That's cool. And I think that transparency is quite cool. It looks like with this new version of Safari, they're basically trying to really compete with Chrome. Because obviously one big thing that Chrome always had over Safari was the extensions. Now it looks like within time that could be disappearing basically with the being able to port over the extensions. So we'll see, but it looks like Safari have really come to play. It looks like they've really come out to take the crown for Chrome, because even though Chrome is good, there is always that privacy stuff that Google isn't super transparent with. I'm sure Google probably will react to this and start trying to make things more transparent, because I can see people moving over to Safari from Chrome because of the privacy issues. It's something that's becoming more and more in the forefront of people's minds. They're not just willing to give away their data without knowing. So that should be interesting to see. The last thing they announced was something we all knew, but most of us knew was coming, was the ARM-based chips that Apple are building internally. So that looks cool, and even the new macOS they showed was actually using the ARM chips. So that looks super cool. I mean, I think everybody's waiting for that. The big surprise is that it looks like the transition is going to be actually quite smooth. I think I was expecting that it would be taking quite a bit more time than it actually did. So that's quite cool that their transition, they're saying 2 years, and even on day one, they expect all the apps that are native to Mac to work straight away. So that seems super cool, and we're gonna have new Macs with better power management, better efficiency. So yeah, that's some big things to look forward to. And they built into the new, as they're rolling out the new ARM chips, they have Rosetta, which lets you run iPhone and iPad apps within macOS, which is very exciting. It looks like it's quite cool because people think Apple is kind of a more restrictive with certain things, and I think that's actually quite a move to be quite open. I know it's their own products, but being able to use iOS, iPhone apps and then iPad apps on the actual Mac, I think it is a step because it's something that I don't think in the past Apple would do at all, or even consider. So, you know, from day one, the ARM-based chips are gonna have so many apps. It's ridiculous. I mean, it's just stupid, really, but you know, in a good way. Yeah, and so that's really it. I mean, for me, I'm very excited. I don't know. I feel like a little bit of the magic's come back. It's going to be interesting to see what the new hardware not the new hardware looks like, because you know, with the new chip, probably they're gonna, if it runs, you know, better with more efficiently with better power management and that kind of thing. I mean, maybe, you know, better thermals as well. Maybe you might see thinner Macs. I'm sure we'll see a thinner iMac with less bezels, and I think that's probably one of the things. You know, people were saying that the first Mac to run the ARM chip would be like a small notebook type computer, but I think there's a good chance it could be the new iMac. I do think there's a good chance it could be the new iMac, because that would be a way to announce it. I think that would be a way to announce, and it looks like the transition period is not going to be crazy. Anyway, I don't want to go rant too much. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like, give it a subscribe. I'm going to be making more videos. You know, you can check out some more videos on reviewing the iPads, my channel already. I'm going to be making more videos. I'm a new channel, but you know, I'm ready to pump out tons of videos with anything regarding Mac and technology in general. I'll probably branch out eventually. Anyway, thanks for watching. Peace.